Guys, so I'm gonna take a look at the world and tell you what the world view is of the US presidential election and trying to fill in their country depending on how I think they would vote if they could. I'm going to fill it in red for Trump and blue for Hillary and grey for kind of neutral or anything else. So let's go to the land down under. So I think anything in the Western world receives a lot of Western media that's owned by the Murdoch press, and I think more or less a lot of it is against racism and sexism, etc. So a lot of people in the Western world certainly disagree with a lot of the stuff that comes out of Trump, and I think they're most likely to be wanting Hillary to win. So Indonesia, not too sure about Papua New Guinea, but Malaysia and Indonesia, Muslim countries, so they definitely want to see Hillary Clinton in charge instead of Trump, because Trump's against Muslims entering his country, and as they're poor countries, they more than likely want to go visit sometime. As with probably most of the South Asian countries, South Korea as well. North Korea, I know they're the most infamous country in the world, but I'm going to leave them neutral because the people that live there don't have access to the internet or media. They just receive their media through the state, and they're not likely to be aware of how good or bad Trump is. I'm not sure what Kim Jong-il wants. I think he just wants to be the most powerful man in the world. So I'm going to leave them neutral. It's too difficult to determine what they actually want from the world. Japan would definitely want Hillary Clinton because Donald Trump said that he is no longer going to defend them in terms of NATO. The whole Western alliance is going to essentially be disbanded with him. India as well probably want Hillary Clinton. I don't know a lot about India. I just know it's a growing economy at the moment. China, I think, would want a Trump in charge because they're rival nations. And obviously, rival nations want to see the other nation get defeated. That's definitely the same with Russia. Trump said he'll make friends with Russia, so they definitely want to see a Trump in charge. Mongolia, I'm not sure about. I'm going to leave it neutral. It's not very well populated. Kazakhstan is one of those countries that's bordering Russia, and a lot of the countries that are bordering Russia, a lot of the Baltic states, want to see Hillary in charge because any kind of sense that Russia is gaining power through America would mean those countries are more likely to be invaded. So Ukraine at the moment has been under threat recently. So they definitely want to see Hillary in charge. Obviously, I'm speaking on behalf of those nations, so if you're from those nations, or if you're from anywhere in the world, and you've got your opinion on who you want to see in charge of America, let me know in the comments. So, Pakistan and Afghanistan, I'm going to leave blue, as well as Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. Iran, they just did a nuclear deal with America, which Trump has dismissed. So I'm going to put Iran as blue because I think they want to see that carried through. They don't want to be walked all over by Donald Trump. Iraq and Syria, both under control by ISIS. ISIS probably want to see Donald Trump in charge because of his racist way of talking. The Kurds probably want to see Hillary in charge, but ISIS probably want to see Trump in charge. I suspect the Muslim world as well aren't greatly without offending these countries too much. I know that Saudi Arabia has bad women's rights, so I'm going to put them as red just purely for the fact that Hillary Clinton is female, along with Yemen and Oman. Turkey, I suggest they probably want to see a sense of stability and defence, so they probably want to see Hillary in charge. Egypt, I'm going to put them as red as well because they're a Muslim country. I'm not saying that Muslims don't accept female leaders, but those countries are probably... Now Africa, I'm not going to lie, I don't know a huge amount about, apart from that over here is where Ebola started and they'd want to see support for that. Down here, South Africa is quite left-leaning, so they probably want to see Hillary in charge. So let's just change that to blue for now. This is purely hypothetical, of course. Change some of these to blue. And the rest of Africa, I'm going to fill in red, just because, what the hell? It looks pretty, that's why. Somalia, I think they're too busy being pirates to be interested. Sorry if I've just offended you and you're from Somalia. So let's just leave that neutral. I'll fill in. Motherfucker. So if you're from Africa and you completely disagree with me, please let me know. I'm going to suggest that a lot of these countries want to see aid given to them, and because Donald Trump seems to be a lot more cut off from the world than Hillary, so I'm going to suggest they're going to be blue. If you know more about African countries, please let me know. But I'm going to suggest anything run by ISIS wants to see Trump in charge, because I think they want to see the Western world collapse. So Tunisia or anywhere with Boko Haram in, like Nigeria. Although Nigeria, I know that their government is greatly against corruption, so maybe they'd want to see Hillary in charge because she is renowned as the corrupt person. I'm going to fill that in blue, like that. So Greece, they have large financial problems, but America's not going to sort them out, so I'm going to put them as blue. And yeah, Romania as Baltic state would want to be. So with Hungary and Hungary, Bosnia, Italy, Slovakia, Poland, Czech Republic, Germany being a Western nation, again probably wants to see Hillary. France and Belgium and the Netherlands again. The reason why I'm putting Western nations in is because they're all part of the Western Alliance in NATO, and the Western nations will want to see that alliance continued, whereas Donald Trump wants to start asking why he should support financially the defence of these countries when it looks like they can support themselves. So Scandinavia is going to be in there as well. So Britain, I know Britain voted to leave the European Union, and a lot of people have paralleled that with the Donald Trump campaign, but I believe that most people in the UK are against the wording and the sexism and the anti-Islamic phrases that Donald Trump comes out with. There is a bit of support for Donald Trump. I can understand it, but again, you have to remember that a lot of the media we get is through the Murdoch media, and a lot of that Murdoch media kind of has already decided who they want as president, and a lot of the other media essentially just reflects that. Our media is very, very, very careful not to be racist or sexist, so they try and present things as fact. So if a candidate happens to be anti-PC, then they will seem to kind of slag them off, even though they're not. They're just trying to be PC themselves and not get sued. So I'm going to put Britain as blue. Alright, so Greenland, we all know, is the best place to go if there is a nuclear apocalypse or the world is run down by a deadly virus. So I'm going to fill that in neutrally. Iceland is going to be blue. I think most of Europe, I think all of Europe actually is blue. Canada and all the nations surrounding America definitely don't want Trump. So Mexico as well definitely doesn't want Trump. Cuba, as they just made an alliance with the Obama government again, they're going to want the Democrats in again. I'm going to suggest most of the Caribbean does as well. I know that I've got a lot of fans from the Caribbean, so if you're from the Caribbean, let me know your thoughts on the election. And as a lot of South America is quite left-leaning, I'm going to fill in South America as blue. Because blue. Here's the thing. Why is Brazil a triangle country and yet a Brazilian? Never mind. So it looks pretty this way. So Peru and Argentina. Oh, Argentina won't fill in. And that leaves it pretty much. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. So as you can see, the map's mostly blue. It's mainly just Russia, China, obviously, and some of the African nations, particularly run by ISIS. I don't know if this is true or not, if the world really thinks like this. But as you can see, it tends to be the Western Alliance and the countries that have been given are threatened by Russia and threatened by China and ISIS and the Middle East that tend to want to vote Hillary, whereas the countries that want to rival America in any way tend to want to vote Trump. I don't suggest this is true or not, this is just my opinion of those countries. So if I've offended you in this video, then I'm really sorry, but as you're probably aware, I did make a dig out my own country, so yeah, that's the world in mosaic form. It's pretty, isn't it?